Hey again.
Hey again.
I
Here we are.
realized I forgot to mention a minute ago. I'm like, see you in a minute for Sandy. Nope. See you in a minute for our final chapter review of The Adoptee's Journey from Loss and Trauma to Healing and Empowerment by Cameron Lee Small.
Yes. And guess what? It's us finding our callings. That's the chapter.
Yes. Look, we found our calling with our podcast without even reading this book.
That's right.
Isn't that
We fell
amazing?
into it. I think
We
about
fell
this
into it.
because sometimes you fall into your calling, it finds you backwards. There's some quote where it's like all the steps, and then you fall in something backwards and think, wow, if I didn't do this, this, and this, wouldn't be here. And this is our
Yeah.
calling, truly.
And it starts out with a couple of great quotes.
Yes, I love these.
The first one is nothing is going to change on its own, and the choices we make today will become the difference we see tomorrow. That's from Rise, a pop history of Asian American America.
It's great.
It's just absolutely true, isn't it?
It's absolutely true. And then Audra Lord, to refuse to participate in the shaping of our future is to give up. Do not be misled into passivity, either by false security, they don't mean me, or by despair, there's nothing we can do. Each of us must find our work and do it.
Hmm.
That's true. We were just talking about something off camera, like, oh, that's not me. Oh, wait, that is me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And so that this book is a lot about getting
Hmm.
there and going about finding your calling and how Cam came to be. He
Yeah.
just like said yes to volunteering, said yes to this and said yes to that, and no to other things and yes to these things.
Yeah.
And here he is writing this incredible workbook that is
Yeah.
life-changing.
Changing things,
Advocates and
yeah, changing things
advocacy.
with, yeah, and within a hard community, in the Christian community, it's not the easiest conversation. And he's so graceful.
Mm-hmm.
I could see how he's really someone people would listen to because he's not old either. He's pretty young, Cam.
Yeah, I want to
But
say late 30s, maybe
yeah,
early 40s.
beautiful voice.
Yeah.
I like
So
this one.
this
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just there were certain little things that I highlighted that aren't that maybe seem out of context, but really
Yeah,
aren't
yeah.
within the scope of the chapter. And one of those is you take the risk of being vulnerable, right?
Mm,
You need to, it's really about unpeeling the layers,
yeah,
peeling away the defenses, becoming vulnerable, and then, only then, are you able to
yeah.
open things up and find your purpose, as it
It's
were.
scary. It is scary, but it's
It
really worth it.
it is.
I just
Yeah.
like this part. This is really out of context. When he says, I just thought of it today for you too. Hope deferred makes us sick, doesn't it? So
Mm-hmm.
if you have a bunch of hope and wishing, but you're not, it just makes us sick. Our hearts long to be fulfilled. It's a sign of being alive.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful writing.
And
It's like,
then, he talks about healing and empowerment and
yeah,
in the process of finding your callings, you might realize how the patterns you've developed to avoid suffering become exactly the conditions that destroy you. I was just talking about that earlier today.
you are. I mean, really, because think of all the stuff. I look back in my life and think all the destructive things I've done
Mm-hmm.
were out of not being aware of what's causing the root cause of why
Right.
behaving a certain way, blowing up a relationship, acting in a way that would be dangerous for me, things like that.
Yep.
And that's everybody, but adoptees really, we have our share that's much.
Well, because, there, to me, I feel like there's a added layer because when those feelings came up as children, as teens, as adults,
Yeah,
young adults, older adults, until you're kind of the whole public narrative, right, has been telling
yeah,
you you're so lucky, the same thing over and over.
yeah,
So then you have to deny what those feelings are, and then how do you deal with that? You do things that maybe are destructive
yeah,
or ruin, walk away from relationships or,
yeah.
any number of things that we've discussed over
Jeez.
the
So
many chapter
many.
reviews and discussions and all that stuff. So, Awareness is really,
Awareness.
yeah.
I like this quote for all adoptees and for us. Here we go. Just what you were saying. Adoptees have lived through death together. That's an
Hmm.
interesting quote. Whether you like it or not, you're part of the group who knows how that feels. And while there's an incredible diversity within our kinship, there's something available to each one of us.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of cool. It's like we are in a kinship. If you get on our Patreon cafe, our adopted cafe, it's like we may not all know each other, but we instantly know each other.
Yes.
Feel very safe in those spaces,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You do. It's safe. People who get you and understand you and see you, be seen fully for who you are. And
Mhm.
then when that starts to happen, that's when we go out and find our purpose, our calling, as he calls it.
Yeah. Oh, and I wouldn't do that without you. I just have to say while you were talking, I'm like, oh, I see you.
I know.
It's so cheesy but true. Little
I
love fest.
know.
There you
I
go.
mean, thank God we have each other.
Yeah.
How could we have gone through this without each other? It would have been, well, we wouldn't have, for
No.
starters. So,
I was thinking of our fellow podcasters out there that don't have each other. They have
mhm.
only themselves, and I'm like, it'd be hard. I don't know if I would be it'd be hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Be very different, that's for sure. Not
Yeah, it
as, I mean,
wouldn't be as
well,
funny.
there we go. Goodbye to the beautiful book.
Can't stand it.
I know. And
Well,
next week we will have Cam on as our
yeah,
finale guest. And then after that, we are starting our another memoir season, and we're starting off with Monica Hall's Practically Still a Virgin. So
yeah.
we'll have
We'll put
time to
that in
get
our
that.
show notes
Yeah, and we'll
actually
talk more about it. We'll talk more about it
next week.
next week. So,
We're gonna do 3 books, but that's the starter,
yep.
and we know her, so it's kind of
Yes, and
cool.
we know Monica. So, okay, well, now I'll see you, Andy.
We'll hear about Sandy. See you in a
Yep.
minute.
In a minute.